Hello there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. It is our Tuesday evening program here. Hopefully you're doing well. We're still tracking lots of cold weather across the Carolinas. It's going to be cold all week long. We're still dealing with the after effects of our system too. So a lot of the roads have ice on them, have sleet on them, all sorts of those problems. So that's going to continue to be an issue for a little while longer. Then going into the weekend, we could have round two. We could have another winter weather system approaching our area. This one, if it happens, it would be all snow and no ice. So that's kind of where we're headed over the next couple of days. And let's take you along for the ride here. Today, it was about the coldest day we've had in a 3-year period. So it's been a little while since we've had temperatures quite that cold. Let's take a look at what they looked like in our area. Overnight, dipped down all the way to 8 degrees in Greensboro, 8 degrees in Asheboro too, and 7 in Winston-Salem and High Point. Lexington about 9 degrees. So all of these places, bitterly, bitterly cold stuff as you experienced for yourself earlier this morning. Now, as we go from here, we are going to continue to have cold mornings around the area. It's just not quite going to be as cold as it was earlier this morning, but you can bet most of the week we're going to still be in that really, really cold spot with morning lows generally staying in the teens. And that's way below average. You know, typically we're seeing lows in the 30s or the 20s at this time of year. How about teens basically every morning through the upcoming weekend with temperatures right there in the low teens by Saturday and Sunday. So we got to get ready for that. This is going to make it harder to get rid of any of the problems on the roadways. So you can plan on everything staying pretty icy. If it's icy now, it's probably going to stay icy for a couple more days. Right now we are in the 30s, and tomorrow morning, yeah, it's another one of those problem days, right? We're going to start the day by temperatures basically right there around 20 degrees or so. And as we warm up Wednesday afternoon, we will have a good chance to get into the upper 30s with some sunshine for us. But again, this is not going to be a magic melt or anything like that. Only melting a little bit daily, just a little bit here and there, and then that refreeze just keeps on happening. So I don't have too much to say other than cold weather will continue, and it'll continue for a long time. The reason this is happening has to do with our weather system. Basically, to stay cold in the south for a really long time in the winter, you have to get renewed cold shots repeatedly. So every couple of days, we have to get new injections of cold air. And they're coming in from the north. We have a new cold front coming in, heading into tomorrow, and then there will be another one after that. And this just kind of keeps us in that chilly weather pattern. And so basically what we're doing, we're allowing cold air to really lock in and stay in place going through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend as well. Now, the weather pattern here is pretty favorable for storms to form. So right now, the jet stream is pretty flat. And when the jet stream is flat, there's not a lot that can make a storm system happen because it's just kind of coming along. When there's a big dip in the jet stream, that can be when you start to get into interesting territory when it comes to making a storm. And that's kind of what we're seeing. So right about here, you see how that big dip in the jet stream happens? When that's going on, that's when you have a better chance to create low pressure. Now, the differences in how that trough forms, that can be the difference between us staying dry or us getting a big snow event. And both of those are on the table right now. So as we go into the weekend, here's Saturday. Notice that big dip in the jet stream, as I said, and then next week it kind of ejects to our north. So what we're going to have to pay attention to very closely is what kind of track does this storm take? There is probably going to be low pressure that forms off the Carolina coastline. And like I said, we have cold air locked in. So the question isn't whether or not it'll be cold enough for snow. We know that it will be. The question is more so, will it be cold with moisture? And if we have the moisture, then we could have a decent snowfall event that could add up to several inches. So we have to watch that very carefully. Path number 2 here, that's usually the one that you want if you're a Piedmont snow lover. And path number 1 it usually keeps us pretty dry, or at least mostly dry. So those are the 2 options I see for us at this point in time. I don't really see a scenario where we could mix or get into sleet or freezing rain. That's not very likely to happen. So what we need to be keeping an eye on is a snow potential, a whole snow system, and not really so much of a mixed bag. So that's kind of how I see it as of right now. I can show you this product, which tries to kind of assess the risk of who would see a moderate amount of snowfall. So across eastern North Carolina, believe it or not, they have a bigger risk of having a moderate snowfall than we do. For us, we're kind of more so in the medium category for now. Moderate category, medium category, whatever you want to call it. And then farther back into western North Carolina, they're in more of a lower impact category. So that's kind of where it stands as of right now. The computer models don't really agree completely, although they've all shown some amount of a system forming at one time. So bottom line, all of this boiling down to a forecast, being here on a Tuesday, looking ahead to a Saturday, we can say low pressure is probably going to form out there this weekend. We'll have cold air in place, but we don't know how much moisture we'll have available to us. So yes, we've got a chance for snow, but we also have a chance to stay dry. There will not be any ice this time, probably in all of North Carolina, but certainly not here in the Piedmont. As far as who is buying this in model land, well, right now the GFS is kind of leading the way with the snowy charge, but all of them have something, and we have a pretty decent chance to at least pick up an inch of snow going into Saturday. So let's just kind of see how this shapes up. Either snowy or dry. Pick your champion here. Which one would you like to see? The nice thing about it is if we were to get it, it would be a dry, fluffy snow. It's not likely to be a heavy, wet snow or a mixed bag of sleet and freezing rain. So typically it's very hard to get power outages or those type of things in those setups. So let's root for that. Let's root for not having any of those problems. And maybe if you're a snow fan, you could have some fun out there this weekend. Of course, if we do get snow, we're going to have issues on the roads yet again next week. We'll be back after a quick 2-minute break.